Yeah, it's funny how it all started. I mean, I fell in love with live music when I was about, 24, 25. And I was working at a radio station, and the then general manager gave me the reins, or the keys, if you like, to run this annual event called the Battle of the Bands out at Emerald in central Queensland. And this concert was literally started on the back of a semi-trailer, like a 40-foot, semi-trailer deck. And then as we grew, we added another 40-foot semi-trailer deck, and then we grew even bigger, and we added a third one, which gave us this sort of, way bigger deck. And then we, started putting up, trussing and roofing, and, as we grew, over the years. And I don't know, I was just bitten, love live music, I just think music's such a positive thing. I think it can really influence, people who are down. I think it can change politics. I think it can do lots of, really positive things. So I'm a big believer in music as a soul, heart enriching, medium, if you like. So I really enjoyed it, and I just went on, and, in the early days, I went to Tamworth in 1992, I think was the first year. And I met this guy called Rob Potts, right, who was a legend. I mean, he created CMC Rocks, a famous guy. But Rob and I struck up a great friendship, and he booked all my talent and all my artists all through the 90s. We had this little festival, we got going called the Emerald Country Music Spectacular. It was our deal, And Rob booked the acts, and we delivered the festival, and we just had such a great time doing it, It was back when, in the early days, when Rob's first started bringing artists over, and he brought out acts like Wiley and the Wild West Show and the Bellamy Brothers, and these were kind of accessible acts for him because he was starting on a new journey of breaking into America. And of course, Rob created CMC Rocks, which is the greatest country music festival in the Southern Hemisphere. It's unbelievable. But there were humble beginnings, and I felt really honoured. And Rob was a mentor to me. He's a bit older than me, and I just loved the guy. And he was almost like a prophet, I'd spend time with him, and he'd recalibrate me, and he'd say, because I was the brand guy, right? So I was always the guy working with Rob. After our festival days, I worked on CMC Rocks franchise for 6 years. I had a big hand in moving the franchise to Queensland, finding the venue at Willowbank, and doing all of the, behind the scenes government relations, just gently helping these guys, keep this thing going. And it was such an honour, and he's a dear friend, anyway, it was actually Rob and I that we thought there was an opportunity in North Queensland to do something, and Rob was in on that idea. And they toured, he toured Florida Georgia line through Cairns.
I met those fellas.
Yeah. He toured Florida Georgia line through Cairns, back in the day. And it was almost like a litmus test to see, well, is there an appetite, to do something up here? And Potsy was all over that with me. And so we did that, and it indicated to me that Florida Georgia Line sold out 2 shows at Cairns Convention Centre, which was pretty amazing. Robert passed by then, but I continued to work with Chuggy to deliver those shows and help fill the rooms. Very much in just a passive capacity, no sort of official relationships, but in the spirit of what we started, And it was shortly after that we stubbed our toe on this amazing gem called Mareeba. And, it came out here, and Nipper, the local councillor, was very passionate about developing a country music festival here. At the same time, we were thinking the same thing. So it was kind of like this coincidental alignment of, things. And we were looking at venues and whatnot, and he showed me the Mareeba Rodeo Arena as a venue, and I was sold immediately. I've seen so many country music venues and festivals in my life. I was fortunate to run the Gympie Muster for 2 years, which is an absolute badge of honour. I still wear the muster shirts in when I'm when I'm getting around Savannah here in my work setup mode, I wear the muster work shirts, and it's a badge of honour because it's such a great institution, you know. Anyway,
Great venue there too.
Gympie has the best festival site in Australia, bar none. There's not a festival site that comes close for natural, you know, what it does. But anyway, I saw Mariba and I saw all the infrastructure here. I saw the capacity for camping, and then I saw the capacity for growth. Because you may not be aware, but when you look at all the developed area here on this site, and we're pretty much maxed it out, there's as much country, again, to the north, the same footprint. So we can expand this festival footprint to the north by exactly the same amount. We can camp 20,000 people here on this site. We're not limited by expansion, and we're not limited by anything other than, you know, I suppose our ability to, you know, keep it going, you know.
That's going to be my angle, I reckon, about, you know, your belief that it can really grow.
Yeah, man, I'm always a half glass full guy. But you know what? I probably worked on or run or had something to do with maybe 150, 160 festivals over my time. And I know what the combination is for a winning festival, and I can tell you, this one has it. It's got an international airport within an hour. It's got an amazing, vibrant tourism industry that entices people to come north to enjoy all the amazing, you know, bloody natural things here, you know. It's got more pubs, restaurants and you know, entertainment than you can hope to keep up with. Cairns, Port Douglas, you know, Palm Cove, the whole thing. And we see ourselves as just being a part of all that, you know. It's really funny. Steve Molnar, who's become a bit of a mate, like he's the GM of the Port Douglas, you know, Mirage. He's been in the mosh pit every year for the last 3 years, right? And how's that, right? So people love music, and we all know. So, but what I have learned is that we've broadened out our base of music. We've broadened our genre out. They do it at big festivals overseas. You know, you look at Glastonbury. You can see Neil Diamond,
Parkway Drive,
and Daft Punk and Dolly Parton all at the one festival, you know, and I like that. And guess what? I'm the festival in Australia to do that, because we mix, you know, country, rock, pop, blues, folk. And at the end of the day, all we're doing is we've got this camping festival, we've got music is the love, you know, and everyone gets together, and, you know, there's something for everyone at this festival. And, you know, we've introduced a bull ride, which is, I was a bit out on the bull ride. I wasn't sure how that would go. Proof of concept, man, we smashed that out of the park.
It's a pretty good little setup there. It was pumping.
So how's that? You go from Kate Sobrano in the big tent, right, who absolutely killed them, you know, with probably, Jesus, 3,500 people underneath that roof, plus all of the back end. And as soon as she finishes, 5 minutes later, everyone just takes a jump to the left and there's a bull ride. Fantastic, hey?
And this year, James, a pretty big lineup with some big names. Now, none more so than Jimmy Barnes. That's a pretty big coup for the event.
You know, tell you a funny story. Whether or not you publish it or not, I don't really care. But when we were out here after last year's festival on the Sunday night, you know, and Sunday night's the last night hit out, you know, and we had the big international here last year, Paisley.
Course, yeah.
And wow, what a journey that was. Anyway, as soon as the last black limousine drove out that gate, it was on. And, you know, for young and old, and they said to me, "Who are you getting next year?" This was last year on Sunday night. I said, "I'm booking Jimmy Barnes." And
here we are.
And here we are.